The Eras Tour was actually just a byproduct of several events that happened in Taylor's career from the years of 2019 to 2022. And the Eras Tour was a blessing in disguise because this tour was never planned to actually happen.
Welcome to the Eras Tour. Most joyful, most rewarding, most wonderful thing that has ever happened in my life, this tour.
The Loverfest died so the Eras Tour could live. Check out the fascinating story behind how the Eras Tour came together in this video.
The Eras Tour was never actually meant to happen and is the biggest blessing in disguise of Taylor's career so far. The Eras Tour was actually just a byproduct of several events that happened in Taylor's career from the years of 2019 to 2022 when the tour was announced. It all started in 2019 during the Lover era when Taylor announced the Loverfest. The Loverfest was going to be Taylor Swift's smallest tour yet, with 16 shows across 3 continents being North and South America and Europe. By this point in her career, Taylor was tired of the same old record tour cycle, and she wanted something different and wanted the Loverfest to feel like an outdoor summer festival kind of vibe. The stage was going to be 360 degrees, and the reason why there was only 16 shows was because Andrea, Taylor's mum, was sick at the time and going through treatment, and Taylor wanted to be closer with her family. But then in April of 2020, with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, Taylor announced that she was going to postpone the tour, but then the next year, in February of 2021, she cancelled the tour completely. But this is when Taylor's career started to change for the better. I'm not gonna lie, during the Lover era, Taylor was ridiculed for lyrics like, "Hey kids, spelling is fun," and "You can't spell awesome without me." She completely changed that narrative with Folklore. Released less than a year after Lover, Folklore received rave reviews from critics and won Taylor Album of the Year at the Grammys for a 3rd time. Then in that same year, Taylor also released Evermore, the sister album to Folklore, which also received rave reviews from critics. Swifties would then joke on TikTok that Taylor's next tour would be called the Folk Lovermore Fest, making fun of the fact that she had released so many albums that she'd have to combine all these 3 albums into one tour, being Lover, Folklore, and Evermore. However, the best was yet to come. The following year, in 2021, Taylor then started to roll out her re-releases. Fearless Taylor's version did make some noise, however, it wasn't until Taylor released Red Taylor's version where lots and lots of old Swifties got back onto the train again, and all the new Swifties and old Swifties came together. The release of Red Taylor's version put Taylor's career on a whole new level of popularity, especially since she released the 10-minute version of All Too Well. Then in 2022, this momentum for Taylor's career continued to grow. She won Video of the Year at the VMAs for All Too Well 10-minute version, where she then surprised announced Midnight's her 10th studio album. The lead single for Midnight's, Anti-Hero, stayed at #1 on the US Billboard Hot 100 for over 10 weeks, and Midnight's also sold over 1 million copies in its first week, and she then went on to win Album of the Year at the Grammys for the 4th time with Midnight's. Then on November the 1st, 2022, Taylor announced the Eras Tour. And the Eras Tour was a blessing in disguise because this tour was never planned to actually happen. The last time Taylor toured was in 2018 for the Reputation Stadium Tour, and since 2018, the world changed so much. There was a global pandemic that sent the world into lockdown, and during that time, Taylor put out 4 new albums into the world, being Lover, Folklore, Evermore, and Midnight. I still can't believe that Taylor's original plan was to do this small festival tour for Lover, only for that small tour to get completely cancelled and turn into the Eras Tour, which is the biggest tour of all time.
Welcome to the Eras Tour. And I don't know if you know this, but this is actually the first night of the Eras Tour. Did you know? So, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that if you're here tonight, there's a pretty good chance that you went to a considerable amount of effort to be with us tonight. Is that true? All right. Well, first of all, let me just say on behalf of me and every single performer that you see on this stage, all the band, all the crew, every single person who have been putting together this tour for years, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for wanting to be with us on night 1. We have toured the entire world with this tour. We have had so many adventures. It has been the most exciting, powerful, electrifying, intense, most challenging thing I've ever done in my entire life. We've gotten to perform for over 10 million people on this tour. And tonight, we get to play one last show for you here tonight in beautiful Vancouver. Me and to my band, to my crew, and everybody who's put so much of this into this tour, into their I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just having a good moment. Sorry. It's not even the last show. My band, my crew, all my fellow performers, we have put so much of our lives into this, and you've put so much of your lives into being with us tonight and to giving us that moment that we will never forget. We've loved our time in Toronto. It's been so amazing. I love you guys. Thank you so much for that. Vancouver, I want to thank every single one of you for being a part of the most thrilling chapter of my entire life to date. My beloved Eras Tour. Thank you for being with us tonight. Would you give us one more song, please?
The craziest thing about Taylor Swift's tour is the stage. Rumors are it costs $150 million for the visual, sound, and crew. But this blew me away. It's a video breaking down the one-of-a-kind production that makes the Eras Tour possible. First off, the infamous stage dive into the water. When she dives in, she's landing on an inflatable cushion. But here's what I didn't know. After crawling off, she hops on a cart and gets driven to the other part of the stage. That's the wild thing about this design. There's hundreds of people running around underneath the stage at all times. But here's the craziest part. You know how Taylor gave $100,000 bonus to each of her 50 truck drivers? Well, here's why. Her stage is so massive, they needed to create 2 versions of the scaffolding. That means her trucks split up and drive on a leapfrog schedule. While she's performing at one venue, half the team's already at the next one, pre-setting it up. That's double the work for each driver. On the last day in a city, the remaining drivers pack up the rest of the stage and get started reassembling as soon as they arrive, because the scaffolding is already good to go. This is how she's able to set up such a massive production with so few days in between. Every time I learn more about this tour, I'm blown away by the operation.
The story behind how the Eras Tour came together is definitely a fascinating one, and just goes to show that the Loverfest wasn't meant to be for a good reason. So I'm glad Taylor followed her gut and aimed for something higher, because she made history doing so. For more awesome Eras Tour stories, watch this next video.